All right, here we go.
All right, so there's the setup. Same as last time. I just want to make sure 7 rounds, fast. Yep. Okay. We're not trading up. I think we both agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. So
But can we stop it at like 15 though? Just to like see who's off the board. I just want to.
all right.
We got too fast.
This is realistically. No, this is realistically. I mean, here's the thing: the Eagles and Saints handpicked these 4 picks. They're not trading, right? They made that trade last week. They set themselves up in that position, and then I don't think the Chargers are going to trade. So you have to go up to at least 14, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing that in this climate, right? You need the picks. Right. So where they're sitting at right now, just scroll up a little bit more, just so I can see.
I might as well just finish these 2 picks, right?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I assume quarterbacks are going to go in one of these 2 picks, right? I'm surprised that neither one of those are quarterbacks. Well, this seems to be like
the Saints took Malik Willis at 16.
Okay, all right. So that and Kenny Pickett before that.
The other way around in reality, but I could see that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so here we go. We said we weren't going to trade down, right? We said we were going to make a pick here. So there's some options here. I think we can make a pick here.
This is the best board we've had. This
so
is
far, easily.
Yeah, Wyatt, Penning, Booth. The guards are still here. I mean, there's some other interesting names. Hill. This is the best board, which at the same time, it's the best board we've had so far. Could we move down, accumulate assets, and still get a guy we like?
We're taking 21. We're taking a guy. I said it on Twitter. We said it at the end of last show. We've done the trade down route, right? We've shown what that picture could look like. So the Patriots pick here does feel like a tackle, right? It does feel like I just went over the Matt Light to Nate Solder, the Nate Solder to Isaiah Wynn, that succession at left tackle. They have never been left without a left tackle. They've never been in a position where they're searching for a left tackle. Penning, I think, is an interesting conversation because it could go one. I would actually throw Raymond in this conversation too, just because of the level of competition. There are so few padded practices nowadays in the NFL. It's really just training camp, and then once you get into the season, that's it. Except for maybe one day a week. Those 1 day a weeks, that's the guys that are playing on Sunday are the guys getting the reps in those padded practices, right?
Right.
So trial by combat is kind of the new norm for linemen in the NFL. Guys that get redshirted, yeah, mental reps can be important. Yeah, sitting in those meeting rooms, sitting in those film studies, those things can be important, but you're not getting any physical reps once you get into the season to improve. And especially in line play, that's an issue. So with Penning, he's got some technique things that he needs to work out. He needs to get more flexible in those lower half. He needs to stop bending at the waist as much. And he's got some aggression issues, right? He's got to harness that aggression a little better. He's been leading the FBS and penalties for multiple seasons now. So I feel like you got to play a guy like Penning to try to season him, to try to round him out as a prospect. Where are they playing him as a rookie? They're not going to be, unless somebody gets hurt, unless Wynn or Trent Brown gets hurt. And we're not doing the Isaiah Wynn's a guard thing. We're not doing that.
Right.
Where are they playing Penning? Because I do think looking at this board, the 2 guys that I think make the most sense at this point, just using my Bill Belichick Patriots hat, is Devontae Wyatt or Trevor Penning. Like the guys on the trenches feels like where they would probably go with a pick like this.
See, I think this draft is so deep on the defensive line. I don't think Penning, I don't think Wyatt would be the pick here. We see them do this all the time where it's a loaded draft and they, somebody falls to them and they just move on because they know they can get the value. To me, it's Penning and Booth.
Yeah.
Penning, for all the reasons you said, they're going to need a starting left tackle in a year. He's a year away. We're way out right now, but next year's tackle class looks so. If you don't have a top 10 pick, then again, Penning was not on the radar last year, so who knows? But I think Penning is a logical pick, and I think Booth, because we know they met with him.
Yeah.
As much as we've talked about this positionless defense, they still don't have that big corner on the outside. And there's going to be matchups where they need that guy. And I don't, even if they are going to go positionless zone defense, I don't think that's a full-time switch, right? I think that's a 1-year thing because of the circumstances, and they're going to try to get back to press man as soon as they can. Booth would facilitate that, right?
Yeah. So he doesn't have the reps in press man, or I should say the volume in press man that some of the other corners in the draft do, like Ka'ir Elam, for instance, from Florida, or Roger McCreary from Auburn. Those guys played a lot more press and volume in college, but the reps that I saw out of Andrew Booth in press man are really, really impressive. Fluid guy, really good footwork, really good mirroring ability. He can go up and high point a ball down the field. He's an explosive athlete, and he is a terrific zone corner. Like, probably the best. He might be the best zone corner in the draft. I mean, the guy is extremely good in zone. He's also really good in zone match, right? So you play him in those match zones where he's matching it vertically. If he passes it off, if he runs underneath the defense. They did a lot of that at Clemson. The Patriots have not been a big Clemson prospect school, right? They don't really take a whole lot of guys
under Belichick. They've had players from Clemson, but they've never drafted one under Belichick.
Yeah, what I like about Booth for them is that at Clemson under Venables, Brett Venables, now at Oklahoma, they run such a diverse and complex scheme that Booth is one of those guys that's very game plan oriented, right? Like, if they want to play zone 1 week and then play man the next week, he's a guy that can do that sort of thing because Venables is so multiple in his packages and the way that they run things in that defense. He's got a lot of experience already doing those types of things. So I love Andrew Booth here. I don't know if the Patriots would go corner in the first round. They feel like a corner in the second round type of team, right? That's always their DB round, is the second round.
So here's what I'd say. Say two things that, because I think at this point, Wyatt's out. Some people have asked about Raymond. We both like Penning as a prospect better than Raymond.
Yeah.
That's why we're on. Like, if we're going to take a tackle here, it's Penning. Here's why I'd say corner if we're going to put our Patriots hats on. First off, I would actually, and as much as I like Trevor Penning, and if they took him here in this spot, it would be a fine pick. But between the two, everything you keep saying about them taking a guard, they can develop these guys so well. There's talent further down the board. That's also true at tackle.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And look, they've hit on UDFA corners. They certainly have. But their tackle record, their offensive line record's impeccable. The other thing I'd say about it, you said they don't feel like a first-round corner team. They really haven't done that under Bill. Look at two of their last 3 first rounds. Wide receiver, quarterback. It's a different era. Matt Groh's in the seat now, right? Last year, we kept saying they weren't going to take a quarterback because it was too obvious. And then they took Mac Jones after he fell to him. This feels very similar, right? They won't take a corner. They never take those kind of guys in the first round. But Booth is the perfect fit, but it doesn't matter because that's not their guy. It's everything we said about Mac Jones last year, right? And now here we are in the same spot with Andrew Booth. So that's why I would say Andrew Booth. Again, Penning in this spot, let me just pull up the board again just so we can remind ourselves who's here. Again, they have Raymond higher. I like Penning better. Penning would be a good pick. I could get behind Wyatt. He wouldn't be my favorite pick. I could get behind him.
I think Wyatt's interesting just because of the optics of pairing Christian Barmore with Devontae Wyatt for the next 5 to 10 years is a lot of fun.
But we can go get Bree. We can go get
Mathis,
Fidarian Mathis. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. I could even consider Dax Hill here. I've said this a lot. I think getting Devin McCourty's replacement is important. Hill could be that guy. I think there's a number. This board actually worked out okay.
Hill is such one of those guys that, just like Devin McCourty, they got safety depth in Devin McCourty's rookie season. So they played him at outside corner and then eventually moved him to safety. I could definitely see the same thing going on with Dax Hill, where as a rookie, he's playing corner because that's where they need him to play. But then once Devin McCourty retires and that free safety spot opens up, they eventually move him back to free safety and they get him in a spot where he probably hits his ceiling the fastest, right? Or is the best possible football player. I think, look, I said that you could make the pick. I was going to give you more power here. I like Andrew Booth Jr. here personally, but I'm going to let you do it.
The fact the Clemson thing would kind of worry me because they never picked from that program, but the fact they had him in for top 30 visit, I know the combine meetings never really mean anything.
He did have an injury, I believe, right? He did have an injury. I think
he had like minor core surgery. He's expected to be back for camp.
Yeah,
that
no,
kind
I'm
of
not
thing's
saying
never
that
bothered.
No, I'm not saying I'm concerned or they would be concerned, but sometimes these 30 visits are to bring guys in to see how they're doing in their rehab and see how their health is if they had an injury.
Right, but at the same time, you're not going to do that if you don't think there's a shot you'd pick him, right? And they may see that as, well, here's the value. He's going to fall to us. Because this is a coin flip to me that he gets to 21. 50-50. I could see him being there. I could see him not, right? That being said, Evan, I think we lock it in. Andrew Booth.
Andrew Booth is the pick at 21.
Andrew, and it's a good pick.
I like it. Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson, the pick at 21.
So now I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to pause right here. That's fine. So who else went? So Penning went, Raymond went, Wyatt went, Elam went. So Dax Hill didn't go. What do you think about doubling up, like moving up and doubling up in the secondary?
I think it's a little bit early to do that. I wouldn't mind doing it on day 3 with somebody that maybe has some like a Cordell Flood, or if Zion McCollum makes it to day 3 or something like that, to have hedge your bets, right? But to trade up and give up a bunch of capital to go up and get another secondary player, you still need somebody in the front 7. You still ideally use a defensive lineman. We're still talking wide receiver, right? That's going to come again too at some point. I wouldn't do that this early. I do like the idea of coming back to later though, if we can.
So let's go to, so here's the other thing. Like I'm just going to let it run to 54 because we need capital. I don't think he went yet. He went with that. So they would have, in theory, they wouldn't trade that to us anyway because they would have known we were taking him.
Right. Christian Harris going and Chapman would go in the 2 out of the 3 picks before is tough.
Yeah, and then I still want to have the Pickens Watson conversation. Maybe it's not as realistic now after the Devontae Parker trade. There's one other guy I want to see.
I think they would really like a guy like Pickens, though. I agree.
Right there. If Sky Moore makes it 54, I love that pick right here.
I love Sky Moore too, but everybody is under the assumption that he's going maybe even late first, depending on how Kansas City has that wide receiver board stacked. So I don't think that he's making it anywhere close to 54. Let's take a look at the board.
Let's look by position. So wide receiver, I don't love any of these guys really at 54.
I really like Alex Pierce, but I think now with Devontae Parker in the building, I'm not sure where Pierce fits into the equation there. Maybe next year, that would be a pick for next year. I don't know if we need to pick him at 54, but I just love the idea of John Metchie not needing to rush him back. You ease him in. You really are picking him for 2023 and beyond.
Right.
Maybe they can get him at 85, and we don't need to pick him here. But that's a fun situation, I think, for the Patriots. It's almost like an ideal situation at wide receiver where it's such a great system fit, but you don't necessarily need to bring that guy in and have him be a week 1 impact star.
So let's go through some of the positions real quick here. We just kind of looked at wide receiver. I don't know that I love any of these tackles at 54. I think Saylor's an interesting player. I think Finalizing
Saylor I would like to look at 85 if he's still there.
Right. On the interior, Parham, like we kind of know this group, right?
I look at
tackle,
edge.
Winfrey's an interesting pick here. At edge, we've got Kenigbear, Benito, Thomas. But here's the thing. All right, so it's loaded up at edge, right? Pascal. Winfrey are both still on the board. I really like D'Angelo Malone, too. Let me pull up the pure linebackers here. Troy Anderson's interesting.
It's a little early for here. It's a little early.
Quay Walker's still on the board. This actually...
They don't like Quay Walker.
What?
The PFF simulator does not like Quay Walker.
Well, that's the PFF simulator's fault. It's wrong.
Yeah. They seem to have Quay Walker as like a late day 2 guy, like a solid third round pick.
So I think there's multiple guys we like at multiple spots on the board.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about Metchie too. I think it makes a ton of sense to trade down here. I think it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've talked about trading down a ton at 21. We've never really talked about trading down here, which would be interesting. I don't know if you can get another top 100 pick for this pick.
So
let
me pull up the trade chart. here and take a look. So let's say Tampa, because you don't really trade in the division. 60 plus 91, that's 88 points plus 44. So call it like 120. This pick is 100. So we could do this.
And 54, right? We're giving up 54 too.
And 54, yeah, sorry. And 54, yeah.
Yeah. So we get 60 and 91 for 54 and 127. So basically you improve 127, you move a little bit back on 54.
Right.
It's not terrible. It gets you that extra top 100 that we've been looking for in the trade downs from 21, right? That's the whole idea of trading down from 21 is to get the extra top 100. It's a little bit of a different way of going about it. I don't hate it. I'm fine with that.
I just want to see the picks some of these other teams have. Like maybe we can add another. Cincinnati 63.95. They only have one. I think they only have one. The Rams, they don't have a top 100 pick. So the only one I'd look at 60 and 95. That's 82 points in 40. So that's the same thing. It's 120. It's essentially going to be the same trade. We could get a seventh. If we did this trade with the Bengals instead, we could get.
I'm all set with the seventh. I think I'd rather say top 60, right? I'd rather get that 60th pick.
We're trading with Tampa again?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the trade. We've traded back to 60 here in the second round with quite a few guys. See, now Quay Walker goes at 57.
So, right, Quay Walker and Cameron Thomas went. I like both of them.
Okay.
I know it's a little bit early. I wouldn't hate taking Metchie here.
Yeah, Metchie at 60 I don't think is that early. I think this is about where he's going to start to flirt with it, right? Depending on what teams feel about the medicals and the knee. I still think you can get a linebacker at 85 or not good. I don't want to sleep on the need on the edge of the defense. I know that a lot of people want to see Josh Uche, want to see Ronnie Perkins play that spot. Out of the last 3 seasons, Kyle Van Noy has been a full-time player at that strong side edge position. That's a critical role. That's the Ninkovich role. That's the Vrabel role. It became the KVN role, right? That's a very, very critical role in this defense. I don't think Josh Uche has got the playing strength for it. I don't think he can hold up strong side with the tight end in the combo block there, with the tight end and the tackle. I don't like the optics of that. I haven't seen Ronnie Perkins do it. I think Ronnie Perkins got some more gray strength to him than Josh Uche, but we never seen him do it on an NFL field. So that definitely remains to be seen. I don't know if any of these guys here make the most sense for it. Maybe a guy like Josh Pascal at 85. I don't know if we're going to get him at 85. So
here's what I'd say to that. And I agree with you, edge is a need. If Cameron Thomas fell and he went 2 picks before, right? If Cameron Thomas fell, I think there's a really serious conversation you have at this point about Cameron Thomas. He's a fit. If we're talking about what the Patriots would do, he is a fit. He's not here. Yeah. But I look at this board. Nick Benito's still there. Enig Bear, whose name I know I'm butchering, and I apologize, is still there. Really like good. Pascal.
I think he's kind of underrated in this conversation.
He's an underrated prospect.
Because he's somebody that can play that hybrid role and has some edge setting abilities. Benito's a really great rush linebacker, but he's Uche, right? He's the explosive edge rusher. He's not a guy that's going to take on a tight end and a tackle and hold up play side. That's not his game. He's Josh Uche. He's Chase Winovich. He's the guy that's going to pin his ears back and come off the corner. Kingsley's got a little bit more girth to him, and he's got a little bit more pop. I don't think that a lot of people know that much about him. I don't think he's a name that's been thrown out there a whole lot for the Patriots. I'm sure if we took him here, people would be like, who the heck is that guy, right? Like, who are they taking? I also don't mind the Metchie pick. I would like to – I don't know what the defensive line board looks like. We might be able to get a defensive lineman at 85, so we might be okay there.
So that's the thing, and then D'Angelo Malone was still there too. Who's Winfrey and Mathis are still there.
So I was watching Brian Asamoah, the Oklahoma linebacker today, and he's okay, like a impressive guy. He's only 226 pounds, basically like Christian Harris, Nakobe Dean in that mold. my God, does Perrion Winfrey flash? I mean, he's just all over the tape when you watch Oklahoma's
really good
defense.
player.
He's fantastic. I don't think you can go wrong with that. And Senior Bowl MVP as well. So the Patriots are paying attention. I don't know if we're going to get him at 85. I think he might be gone already.
Winfrey's not making it to 85. Right. But between Winfrey, I like Mathis.
Yeah, I do.
And by the way, those guys are listed as tackles. They can play on edge a little bit, I think.
Or at least some defensive end.
Yeah. Right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Between those two, Pascal, Malone, I think we can get one of them at 85. I really do.
All right. I tend to agree with you. So I think the conversation comes down to, at this point, are we going to take a guy like Metchie here, right?
I think it's Metchie or Troy Anderson. I think that's the conversation here.
Yeah, or maybe like a pure linebacker. Yeah. I don't mind it. Although I think that with the pure linebackers, I like Anderson, but like Darian Beavers at 91 is got some value to it, right?
Channing Tindall.
Channing Tindall to get some more athleticism's got it. That's an interesting ring to it as well. The offensive linemen right now, I think we can wait on those now to the middle rounds. I said it was up to you. I'm leaving it up to you. I love Metchie here. I do.
Honestly, I want to trade back again, but neither of the teams calling present that situation realistically. We want to add future picks.
Yeah. No, so, I'm not interested in the future picks right now.
I think it's Metchie. I think you do Mac Jones a huge favor here. You draft John Metchie. It's a little early, but they're in a position right now where they can reach on him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
All right. There it is. John Metchie.